It is mailbag time here on the channel. It is my favorite show that I do every single week where you guys ask me questions about the Minnesota Vikings, what's going on with Flores, what's going on with JJ McCarthy. We'll talk about it all on today's show. Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. We're going to start off here with Purple Power, getting the first question in there saying, who is your top free agent target for the Vikings this offseason? Now, obviously, the Vikings are in a weird spot because, Vikings are right now around $36 million over the cap. So they're going to restructure a bunch of deals, probably cut a guy like TJ Hawkinson, and they may not have, obviously, as much money as they had this past offseason, but they should be able to bring in at least one guy. Like, there should be at least one main player that the Vikings could bring in. And the one guy I got my eyes on is one of the better cornerbacks in the league, and being Jamel Dean. Jamel Dean's had a great year for Tampa Bay. PFF is grading him out very well. Right now, he is a third-graded corner at 81.5 overall grade. He's actually got a perfect pass rushing grade at 99.9, which is first, but he's also got the ninth best coverage grade at 76.9. And it's also a guy that has played 661 snaps so far this season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that would be not my number one guy. They could go a bunch of different directions here, but I think if you had to pick one kind of position where the Vikings could spend big money on, since they cannot draft cornerbacks to save the life of them, I would go Jamel Dean, Tampa Bay Buccaneers corner. D1 NFL Prods, what's going on? Saying the problem is if we start McCarthy next year and he turns out bad, then Jefferson is going to be wearing a different color next season. And yes, you nailed it on the head with that one. I think we can all, address it where if the Vikings do, end up rolling with McCarthy, and McCarthy, doesn't play good football, he looks like an all-time bust. Jefferson's probably going to say to himself, like, why would I want to be here? I'm in the prime of my career. Like, Jefferson's going to turn 27 years old at the start of next season. I mean, he's probably got 4 or 5 really, really good years left. Does he want to waste those? Probably not. And if the Vikings, if you're in a position where Justin Jefferson and his camp doesn't view McCarthy as the guy, like, can't even roll out with McCarthy. Like, that's probably a huge conversation. Like, it's not only like, hey, does Kevin O'Connell believe in McCarthy? But it's also like, does Brian Flores believe in McCarthy? Does Justin Jefferson believe in McCarthy? Now, should that matter in the grand scheme of things when evaluating the quarterback position? Yes, that's really up to for you to decide. But, yeah, that's going to play a factor into this offseason because if McCarthy is bad, I would fully expect the Justin Jefferson trade rumors to pick up, maybe even at the NFL trade deadline. Like, if he is horrible and he's not getting the football again because he can't have another year where he's only getting 1,000 yards. Like, he needs to be a 1,400, 1,500-yard receiver because as much as Jefferson, he says all he cares about is winning, which I fully believe him in saying that. He wants his numbers. He wants to go dominate DBs, and he hasn't really had the opportunity to do that this season. E-Man Jr. 28, what's going on, man? Saying thoughts on Trayvon. So Trayvon Diggs, as we're recording this, he was just waived by the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he very well could have been picked up by the time you guys are seeing this video. He's going to probably go sign with a playoff contender. I don't think he would sign with the Minnesota Vikings play one game against the Green Bay Packers. But like maybe this offseason, a ball hawk corner in the Flores system where they feast on taking away the football, like it would make a lot of sense. Even though the Vikings, if you take out the Bengals and the Lions game on Christmas, like this team hasn't been as elite as they were back in 2024 in terms of taking the football away. But Trayvon would be a great scheme fit with Flores. I would have some interest there. Now, is he nearly the same guy he was when he had that crazy 11 interception season? No, but I think he can maybe have a little resurgence here in Minnesota. So thoughts on Trayvon? Like, he would be like an icing on the cake signing. I don't think like, hey, if you sign Trayvon Diggs, it's like, oh, that fixes your issues with the secondary. But I would have some interest in bringing in Trayvon Diggs. 612 MN to Florida saying, is Joe Burrow rumor still alive? Haven't heard anything else. I mean, the Burrow rumors really just started with him just really being almost just negative at his press conference, I think is the right word. It just kind of looked under the weather. I think Burrow's got some stuff personally going on in his life. I don't know what that is. Don't want to speculate on it. Are they still alive? TBD. He's played some great football the last couple of weeks. I think he's thrown for like 8 touchdowns. No picks over his last 2 games, so clearly Burrow still's got it. But listen, if he were to ever request a trade or any of these major quarterbacks were to request a trade, Joe Burrow and the Vikings. Like the Vikings will be at the top of all those destinations that teams put out. So are they alive? Not necessarily. I hope they will be, because if you have a chance to go get Joe Burrow, you go do whatever you can to land the Bengals quarterback. Mr. Rick Story coming in saying, do you think Harrison Smith could retire and ascend to the defensive coordinator immediately to replace Flores? I think that's a cool thought. I still think Harrison Smith's one of those guys where when he retires, I don't think we're going to hear from him for years. Like, I think he's going to go get a ranch in the middle of nowhere, and he's just going to kick up, put his feet up, hang out. Like, that's where I think Harrison Smith's going to go. Again, this is just speculation on my end, just kind of reading into his personality. I like the idea, though. Like, this guy's clearly a very smart defensive player. He knows Flores' system probably been better than almost any player on this Vikings team. Maybe Andrew Van Ginkel knows him more, but, he's a smart guy. Maybe he could be like a safeties coach. I don't know if he'll ever have any interest in being a defensive coordinator, but, hey, I like the thought on paper. All right, you guys let me know your thoughts. Even though this has been a disastrous year for the Vikings, what has been your favorite memory from this season? For me personally, I think it's going to be the win in Detroit when J.J. McCarthy had that dagger throw to Jalen Naylor. That's what mine would be. But you guys let me know your thoughts. What is your favorite memory from this season? I would go the win in Detroit. Just because also, like, that moved the Vikings to 4-4. They still had a chance to obviously make the playoffs at that point. You could say on Christmas, like, knocking the Lions out of the playoffs, that would be up there. But I would probably choose to win in Detroit as a 9-point underdog. Like, that was pretty cool. All right, we'll get some more questions here in a second, but we do have some hoodies that are up to 50% off right now. Just click this link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. They have a bunch of different looks, and some of these are up to 50% off right now. So click that link. We'll have that in the comments section and description of today's show. So if you guys want to rock some more Vikings gear, got a great deal going on for you guys. Chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Link for that will be in the comments section and description of today's show. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. But Marco Sports coming here with the next question saying, what are you going to do on New Year's Eve tomorrow night? For me, watching New Year's Rockin' Eve on Times Square, I'll probably do the same. Not going to do much for New Year's Eve, especially with it being on Wednesday. You guys are probably seeing this after New Year's Eve anyways, but just taking it easy. My guy Dylan, though, producer of Vikings Now, I don't know if it's confirmed, going to Ohio State, Miami. Probably. I mean, our studios are down here in Dallas, Texas. Dylan's a diehard Miami fan. So he's going to go see Miami, Ohio State. So hopefully Dylan's waking up New Year's Day with a smile on his face. And also, as a de facto Michigan guy, how awesome would it be if Miami goes and beats Ohio State and Ryan Day? That would be awesome. So I'll be watching that game. That'll be a lot of fun. But, hey, you guys let me know your plans. What you guys do on New Year's Eve? Big O, what's going on? If Flo gets a head coach job, what if we give Zimmer a call? I mean, honestly, Dylan could probably speak better to how Zimmer was his last year in Dallas, as he's shaking his head in the camera right now. Not good. I would not be a fan of Zimmer coming back. I just think the NFL kind of outdated him, where clearly his system, his scheme, like, it was great in the late 2010s. Like, that 2017 Vikings defense, we had Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks. They'd be lining up in the A-gaps. You don't know where Barr is going. You have two great edge rushers in Danielle Hunter, Everson Griffin. Harrison Smith was just a wild card of that defense. Yeah, it would be cool to have, like, the whole comeback story of Mike Zimmer, but I don't know if Mike Zimmer would want to come back to Minnesota. I think he's going to be on his ranch in Kentucky and just, putting his feet up, kicking back, and hanging out. Yeah, I'd probably be against Zimmer being the next DC if they do lose Flores. Mason, what's going on? Should we go for a new left tackle because I can't watch Justin School take over Christian Darisal's backup? Yes, I am with you on that, and I will say Justin School has been a lot better as of late. I mean, against the New York Giants, filling in for Christian Darrisaw, he had an overall PFF grade of 86.6. He did not allow a sack. He only allowed one QB pressure. He only allowed 7 sacks on the season. He's been better as of late, but I think the number one thing with the left tackle position is you just got to get Christian Darrisaw healthy. This is a concern that this knee injury has been nagging him the entire season. And Darrisaw, like, even when he did play, like, he was not the same guy. Like, Darrisaw's awesome. I still think that contract was a good decision, but, Darrisaw this year, overall PFF grade, the lowest of his career, lowest in the run blocking, second lowest in the pass blocking department. He allowed 2 sacks this season and Darris only played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. And like one of those games against the Chargers, he only played 9 snaps. So he really only played 9 games this season. So him staying healthy is huge. But yeah, maybe they go out and look. Maybe in the NFL draft. Because also, Brian O'Neill getting up there in age. Like, watch out for the Vikings taking a tackle. Maybe day 2, day 3 of this year's draft. Nintendo Master, 5,500. Saying the O-line needs a lot of work. Who are some targets in the draft? I kind of disagree that the O-line needs some work with the Minnesota Vikings because, like, you got your tackles, Darrisaw and O'Neal. Even though Darrisaw, like we were just saying, missed a lot of time due to the injury, I fully expect him to bounce back. You got your guards. Like, even though Will Fries has been a little underwhelming, at least Fries has stayed healthy this season. I mean, he's been the only offensive lineman that's played the entire season. Obviously, some low PFF grades for Will Fries this year, 60.2 overall, 60.8 in the run block, allowing 3 sacks and 36 total pressures in most of his career. But he's been healthy. You got Donovan Jackson. Maybe the Vikings look at a center of the future in the draft. But I would rather have them look secondary in this year's upcoming NFL draft. But, Mike, appreciate your question and all the support. Braxton coming in saying, how do the Vikings beat the Packers? You score 1 touchdown. If the Vikings score 1 touchdown this weekend, they will win this football game. I promise you that. They're starting Clayton Tune most likely. Clayton Tune going against a Brian Flores defense on the road. Vikings fans will still be rocking and rolling at US Bank Stadium. How do you beat the Packers? You score 1 touchdown. I think that my score prediction for this game, I'm going to probably go low scoring. I mean, Vikes will probably be starting Brosmer. I'll go 16-9 in favor of the Vikings. If you score 1 touchdown, you'll win this game. All I want, 2 things. Flores to heat up the kitchen. Will Reichard. Can we get Will Reichard to attempt a 65-yarder? That's all I want. That's all I want out of this game. But I'll go 16-9 in favor of the Vikes. But you guys, let me know your score predictions down below. We'll get on out of here. Let's go Vikes.